Hello, my fellow travelers on spaceship Earth. It is I, and I am Guy. I'm coming to you live from Applewood Station, where it is 19 degrees Celsius and partly cloudy. This evening, I'm going to wait until Brent shows up, because that's an important thing. I'm waiting for Brent. Because Brent, hey, the cheeks, how you doing? Why, thank you. Thank you very much. It's already pre-bleached, so that makes it easy. Just saying. So, well, that's good. That is good. Sort of hanging out here waiting. I know that Brent wanted to ask a question, but I don't know where Brent went. Where's that? So, waiting for Brent to show up over here, because he wanted to ask a question. He was talking on the other stream about that, and so now I'm kind of like, well, okay, what you doing though? So, in the meantime, I was looking at Andromeda's Edge as far as a game goes, and I was like, wow, this is kind of a wild game. It's full of little teeny spaceships, though. It's just great. What if I like little spaceships? Just saying, a whole bunch of little spaceships. Anyway. All right. Let's see what else kind of trouble we can get into. I am firing up good old Clip Studio. Let's see what we got going on here tonight. I'm sure there's something we could do, some kind of trouble we can get into. All right. I feel like this was, like, we could make this smaller, and wow, like a whole lot smaller. There you go. The only problem is that there's a reason why we haven't made this big. It's because there's nothing we can do. Right? And like, it's hard to kind of, there we go. All right. Oh, I can already tell if this music's going to drive me crazy. Even really need to. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Now we're cooking with Mazzola. There is no way. I swear. Boy, I'm having real problems with everything today. There we go. Even the pen wasn't working for a minute there. Boy, I'm having issues. My audio wasn't working earlier, and that pen pin's not working. It's like just asking for it. All right, what do we got going on for us? All right. Wonder if there's anything we could. I feel like I kind of want to sketch something. You know what I mean? See what kind of things we could do. There we go. Find ourselves some larger pictures and stuff like that. Kind of figure stuff out here. I am kind of poking around, just kind of looking through some of my. All artists carry what we call a morgue. A morgue is just a bunch of other people's pictures that we like. We can kind of take a look at them and kind of go, oh yeah, that's kind of cool. Get things that I absolutely adore, things like this, where you get just a wild, like this is a bizarre point of view. And I just absolutely love it. In fact, maybe I'll do something similar to that. I'm not sure what I would do, but inspiration hasn't really struck me on this one yet. I think it's cool. I love the POV, but or here's one. Somebody doing a Hatsune Miku, but through the point of view of like the lens of the fisheye lens of a door. I love those. I just always love stuff like that. Just such a great sort of viewpoint, you know? So yeah, kind of poking around here. I don't know. I'm not really getting a lot in the way of inspiration at the moment. Maybe in my photographs directory. Sometimes I get these photographs in there, fascinating or whatever, and I'll be like, oh, that's a cool photograph, you know, and I can take it and push it. I like doing that one too. All right, let's give this a shot. And what we've got is effectively we've got a girl who is doing, for lack of a better word, the very Asian squat sort of thing. She's kind of, her legs are folded sort of this way. And she's got these really cool boots. Have a lot of lift on them. Kind of going this way. And hey, Bio Chicken. How are you doing? Quiet definitely is something to be relished. I'm with you on that one. I'm doing great, actually. Doing good. I feel like I need a slightly larger pen on this one. I'm not getting quite enough in there. Hey, Sarge, enjoying your new fireplace already? I mean, I guess. Is it colder down there than it is up here? I am, and I. It's 40 degrees. Oh, it's 40 degrees. Gotcha. To answer your question, yo, um, I am drawing a photograph or reference photo just for practice and warm up. This is our photo for reference and warm up. And so we're just warming up. I'm going to tilt her towards us a little bit and get more of a downward angle on her. So that's what we're doing so far. And I feel you on the twins thing. Mine, I only have one, not a twin. So, but mine's teenager. So, teenager is a thing. Sometimes I do the keep me in your thoughts. I've got a teenager. So we're gonna. But I still feel for that situation, my friend. I feel for that one. Blue? Oh, you mean the hair? Well, yeah, you missed me dyeing my hair. I mean, I'm just gonna say here. Okay, we're gonna move this leg now out this way a little. So when we start thinking about like the design on this, although this isn't the first time I've dyed my hair, Sarge. Like I said, the wonderful joke about this whole thing is being that my hair has been silver for most of my life now. Well, it was going to be nuclear green, but then I'm going to go to Japan, and so I was like, well, I'll just freak them all out. I've got to meet with my old buddies and dojo mates and stuff like that, and I didn't want to really make them freak out too much. So, all right. So having done this, we've got to remember we got to tilt her body too. Tilt her body that way. And does blue particularly offend you there, Sarge? I mean, I didn't know that was a thing. All right. GIFs don't translate well. No, they come up as little teeny things that are very hard to see. Oh, I mean, other than it is my favorite color. I mean, it's kind of funny too because I've always worn blue in Starfleet, and only recently, really, have I actually been a scientist, which kind of makes it funny. Kind of makes me wonder if, I've always been sort of destined to be a scientist and just didn't know it. And blue is my favorite color, so there's no real significance to that. Yeah, freaking out the Japanese is definitely on my to-do list, apparently. Gonna be a thing we're going to do when I get over there. I can already tell. Of course, we are still talking, though, about my friends. So the truth is they may just take one look at me and go, which is typical of what my friends would probably do. I don't have to really, it's sad, but I don't have to worry about Sensei, who would be the one I think would be the most likely to be disappointed. I think the rest of my friends will be like, yep. I mean, especially when we're talking about my dojo. I think the rest of the guys in the dojo, they knew I was trying to get nuclear orange arrows for my bow. But since they wouldn't let me. No, but that one's readable. I still don't feel like I've got her balance correct. And part of it is that her feet aren't lined up. I'm trying to draw them in this dramatic style, and we really kind of... All right. See you later, Sarge. Good to see you, my friend. Have a good evening. If we look at the way that the room is set up, right? Like, so here's the ground on this one. So no matter what, her feet are going to have to fit inside these boxes like this. So we've got to kind of think about this way, right? So her feet have got to come back around to these boxes. And then we can drop these boxes down just a smidge. So what I'm doing now is just sort of assessing where these feet go, right? Because the feet need to be flat. Otherwise, she doesn't have any kind of ability to... And she's putting her body forward, but still the line of gravity is here, right, from this. So I got to really watch out where that line of gravity is, because she doesn't have enough behind that line of gravity, which puts this foot more here, right? Because we want that foot to be halfway through this line of gravity. It's part of the reason why every so often I do this to just get myself practiced and work it back to the system that's supposed to work in, and you know what I mean, like kind of get into this thing again. So I'll put the heel of her foot here. And then because her foot does have, it does have quite a significant heel to it, it drops this arch down quite a ways. Right. With the heel through there like that. That's much more like a reasonable spot for that foot to be in. And this one's still the same thing. We kind of need it to be more like that. You know what I mean? But even then, now I'm looking at this going, okay, well, here's our center of gravity going this way. When we go across the body this way, we have to kind of build a box that looks kind of like that, which means that this foot actually kind of needs to be over here more. But even then, I'm not liking it. I'm going to want it more like so, I think. So usually when drawing people, you kind of also want to think about, like, I don't know, all kinds of stuff like vanishing points and things like that. I don't know where Brent went. I don't know how I lost Brent. I lost Brent somewhere. But now I'm kind of looking at this going, well, let's go ahead and try another run of that. But this time, let's use the grid. I mean, we got a ruler up here. Remember where the heck I hid the ruler. I can't remember where we hid it. There we go. Ooh, you can do fisheye. Now we'll do this. And this is a 1-point perspective grid. And the thing about these is you can put them off the page. Often we do. I don't know why I put the grid on there except to make my life miserable. You know what? Let's do 2-point. Instead, let's just do a 2-point perspective ruler. Because 2-point would probably be good. It'd be fun to play the game of a fisheye, and I kind of want to somewhere along the line, but today is not that day. All right, so what we're going to do is this. We're going to take our ruler, and for right now, make it easy. hold my point. I guess if I move my points out to here, that'd probably help you a whole lot right there. And then I could adjust this like I wanted. All right. 2-point perspective. Let's go ahead and just go ahead and talk about, well, it's actually not. Let's do this. What we're going to do, define a box in 2-point perspective, like so. And these perspective rulers are extraordinarily useful. Now, if I hide that, you'll notice we have ourselves a pretty nice little box here. And inside this box, I can start putting in pieces of this person's body. We just take her, we can just measure her into the box, right? We probably could flip this box and probably be fine. So like more like that. Maybe it still fit better. Makes it a little easier if you see it that way, right? But if we look at just the way this works, we've got about halfway up her body is the connection point between her knees and her elbows. So we split this box in half, we can go on ahead and kind of get an idea of where that midpoint is on this, and that's useful. So we'll go ahead and go in here, and just so that we make sure we don't lose the ability to track this stuff, I'm going to go ahead and just put this in here to the midpoint. All right. Oh, I drew on the wrong layer. That won't help us any. There. The good news is that midpoint is pretty much right here, the middle of it, right there, right? So, looking at the guidance picture, we kind of already can see that what's going to happen here is that these pieces of the knee and the pieces of the elbow are going to meet right here in the front. They're going to be probably the widest part, save probably not even the widest part, because her widest part's going to be her hips. So there used to be a version of this which could allow me to set it on top all the time. I don't have that option anymore. It's kind of a bummer. All right. So now we've set this up, right? And we know that right about here-ish, give or take, in this square is going to be where her elbow meets right here. The other elbow meets right there. And her knee is going to meet here. And her other knee is going to meet there. Right? And that's useful because we now know that roughly that's where that is. And that's going to give us a good guidance on this. Also, at the median point on the back part here is effectively her rib cage. So kind of going through her rib cage zone, if you will. It's going to be kind of like back here. Right? So we're going to kind of define that rib cage. Right? And we kind of wanted to kind of follow the pattern of this. She's leaning forward, so this would be that rib cage like so, right? I have her ribs kind of doing this, and that sternum is right there. So now we've kind of defined in that rib cage zone. Her hips are lower, and they actually go all the way down to the bottom third easily, if not below that bottom third. So we talk about that hip zone. It's going to be kind of down here, right? Pelvis area. Like so. And so now we've kind of defined, there's that spine going through the back there, right? And her head actually kind of sits forward quite a ways because it's almost on top of her hands. Her hands almost go straight up. And now we can kind of see more of that definition of what we're talking about with this. Right? That rib cage now leans forward more. I can define a little bit better. Right? And her shoulder is going to be out here. And now we've got the ability with this shoulder to be here, right? We got kind of the ribs going this way, and now we've got the collarbones going like that, right? Well, these are forward a little bit, but now we've got the ability to just draw in that arm like so. And since these go almost straight up like this, allows us to really define that zone. And then we're going to put her hand like so, and her other hand like this. And that gives us a nice spot for that head to sit. And now with the head in place, we can start going back and kind of refining our drawing. So kind of coming back through here, because that shoulder's higher. She's got her shoulders down, but that doesn't mean that, they're necessarily down. So kind of like this is where I'm kind of going with it. It's going to allow me to kind of come back through on this though. Now I've put her shoulder too low, so I want to come back up on that. Kind of define better like that. And come up like and around like so. I'm going to have an ear. It's going to be like right here. Then another ear. It's right over here. And her eyes are going to be in this weird plane. Because the eyes have to match the plane here. So that's one of the things we're going to have to kind of contemplate on this right here. We're talking about the plane of this. Like that. Right? And on this same token, now we've got to kind of bring these hips out, because that ball of the hip right here. And then this comes back up for the knee, so that it's even more dramatic. I feel like looking at that from this point of view. I feel like we've even got more drama than that. And then if we look at the center of this box, goes right through here like that, and then goes over like so. And then even down here, if we head this way through it, this is the center of the gravity of where she is. And if I look at where just the center of that, her toes are here and here. Right? So when we start defining this, we want to define that her toes sit there. And that's part of this. Right? So just let's put the footprint, if you will, of her in, so that we know what her footprint's going to be. Because she's sitting way back like so. This is why I chose this. It's deceptively hard. It is not an easy pose. It looks simple, and then we get into it, right? And the truth is, these guys are still vertical. They're just vertical, more like that. So constructing in, I'm going to worry right now about the rest of her boot. We're just going to build this part of it right now. Puts the heel right here and right there, which should be right, except that now we've got this really bizarre line that goes to here. we've got to give her her calf, which is going to be right there. And then we've got to come up underneath here like so, and then just define that. Right? And that still puts this knee right like that. And even that looks not quite right, but we're getting there. And part of it is that I broke the plane with this, and I don't need to. Keep moving upward on this leg, and I'm feeling a little self-conscious of it about it all of a sudden. I'm like, I don't know, it feels out of whack. That's better. We're also going to bring this shoulder forward. So it can't be any more forward than her back, but in the original picture, it is much more forward than we've got it. She's scrunched forward, so we want to make sure we define that. It's going to cover through here. Oh man, we're already at the end. I have to revisit this. I'm intrigued by where we're headed on this. And there we go. Using 2-point perspective to pop the picture and put us further out. I mean, it's actually not that bad. Could be far worse. That's what we're doing. We're popping the picture, making it work a little further out. So I don't know what happened to my buddy. I'm not sure what happened to Brent. He said, I got something to ask you to do. And okay, I'm here. So Brent, if you need to ask me to do something, I'm here. If we could do it during a show, that'd be ideal. Because then I'd have something to do. I already have something to do, but you get the idea. All right. So there we go. We got ourselves that same picture, except we popped it out a little bit more, so she's at an angle. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here while I can. I'm going to get out of here. Getting out while the getting's good. So, good to see all of you guys here. I'm not sure where you are, Itty Cheeks, but I'm sure you're out there somewhere. And Bio Chicken, good luck with your twins, man. I totally feel that one. And good to see Sarge here while we were here. Always a plus. And I hope everybody has a good evening. And as always, keep your eyes on the stars. Goodbye.